How rich women are creating viral videos to actually help build their business in the online space. That's what we're talking about today. And I couldn't be more excited because this is my baby right here. I love, love, love talking about video. And I love talking about how you can actually start using video online to help grow your business. In case we haven't met, I am one of the co-founders here at Truth Bomb. I am Karen.
And I'm Heidi.
I'm Katrina, because we all know who we are, but we may not know us. So, yeah, this is a great topic. Actually, I'm really excited to have this conversation with our YouTube family because this is really a powerful tool, is video. And
Mhm.
everybody's talking about it. Everyone's saying, yes, you absolutely need to be on video. You need to be leveraging video to grow your business, and they're not wrong. Let's be honest.
No. Yeah. And honestly, that's what people are looking for in today's world. They're looking less and less to read from a blog, which is kind of sad. Like, it is kind of sad because it's like, wait, reading, there's so much that comes with reading. There's so much knowledge that comes with reading. But just in our culture, people, in a way, they want to be given the information from somebody, from a face.
Mhm.
And so that's the reason that like video is so important. Now, I love combining, personally, I love combining the video plus the blog because then you get all of it together and you can actually grab people in different modalities and you haven't created more than one piece of content. That's the really fun thing about creating video for me is that I can use it in all these different places. And that's what it should be about. It should be about creating that piece of content, having that information that you want to share with people and actually use it in other ways. You can use it by creating a blog. For me, I don't like working harder than I have to. So I love creating the video and then putting it through things like Chat GPT and saying, okay, let's rewrite this as a blog that people want to read. And Chat GPT never disappoints me. I'm always like, yep, that's what I want to say. I love it. So
So
it's
you
a
take the video, like how do you do that? You take the video and you can upload that to Chat GPT and it rewrites it as a blog?
So yeah, so if you actually have the paid version of ChatGPT, which I do
Mhm.
not, I actually use the free version, but you could, if you have the paid version, I'm pretty sure you can just drop the actual video in there.
Mm.
I do not. What I do is I take the transcript from the video that I've just created. I
Mm.
take the transcript, I take those words and I plop it into Chat GPT, and this is my prompt. This is it. Like there's nothing special to what I do. I say, rewrite this as a blog with a fun or playful tone because that's who I am.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
So I put that in and then it spits out all this information of this is like it rewrites what I just said and then I go back through and I go, does that still sound like me? Sometimes it doesn't sound like me, but ChatGPT, the more that I use it, it's starting to get really good and really starts to understand how I sound and what makes sense for me.
Mhm.
But I literally just that's my process. And it takes me a lot less time than if I write out the entire blog after I've already done that piece of content where I take most of my time and I pour it into creating that video, creating that piece of content that I know people are looking for. So if I've already spent time researching what I'm going to say in my video, then why not use that in a simpler way
Mhm.
than instead of having to go and rewrite the entire thing at the end of the day. So for me, I love that. I actually had a mentor years ago. She actually told me because she's like she was of the mindset of take that video that you've just created and create that vlog, but just take the transcript and plop it underneath and that can be really helpful too, because that's a repeat of the keywords that you've said in your video. But I like doing it this way also because it also gives another dimension to what you said in your video as well.
Mm.
So, yeah. So it's fun. I love doing video. And here's the thing, I could sit here and I could talk about it all day. I don't want to take from you guys either. But Do you want me to keep talking? I can keep talking.
Well, I find it fascinating, honestly, because I feel like there is a shift for it all, right? And I always play both sides of this because I love video and it's really where I started my business brand originally was I always said it's easier for me to talk on camera first, right? Like it was easier for me to get my point across and then support it with the written content because I was always told I wasn't a great writer. I mean, I was a C student in English. Let's be honest, it wasn't my forte. My spelling still sucks to this day. And that's why I tell people that's why I have Grammarly so that it corrects all my spelling mistakes and all my grammar mistakes because that's, I don't have to know everything and I don't want to be perfect with everything.
Right.
And the interesting thing is I think as you build your tribe and as you build your audience, those little imperfections actually for the right people, it attracts them because they recognize they don't need to be perfect in their business also. And so many times we're chasing that perfection in our marketing. And I think the fun part of it is fucking it all up, to be honest, right? And there's always different ways to do it. Like you talked about the one way, it's like you can reuse video in so many different ways, right?
So true.
And it really does come down to, at the end of the day, making your content tactile and accessible for all the different learners that are out there. So like you said, you have video because there's the people that really want to watch and engage with you, right? There are those like me that speed read. So watching a video, even if I put it on high thing, it's too much of a noise distraction. I prefer to be able to read through, skim the content, get the key points that I want and move on with my day. So video for me has less appeal, though I do it, right? I don't spend hours scrolling through video clips or shorts or anything like that. Like that for me is like not my jam because it's not where I want to spend my time, right? As a customer. Now, as an entrepreneur and somebody in business, I also understand that that is critically important, right? So there's what I like as a consumer that I'm not a big fan of, but there's also what I recognize for my business, how I have to do certain things, even if it's not like in my wheelhouse kind of a thing. And so what I love about this is that when you take a piece of video, like you said, there's the visual content, there's the auditory content, and then there is the transcription. So you really are hitting on those three different elements of how people engage with content. And you have to understand how to rip that apart to some extent, or pay somebody or have a service that you're paying into that can do that for you. Absolutely. It's not like you have to sit in front of a computer and do all that work and heavy lifting yourself. Now, in the beginning, ladies, when you get started, you're going to have to do some of that, right? You're going to actually have to do some of the work initially just to get a basic understanding. And I'm always of the belief that if you don't understand what you're asking somebody to do and they do it, but it's not up to your standards, it's because you don't have a communication going around what they're doing. So for me, like I like to do video. I like to go through the editing process at least once or twice to understand how time consuming it is to do video so that I know why I'm paying somebody to edit video for me because time consuming as fuck. And I will use that word again. So you
as somebody that does a lot of video editing, it is time consuming, but when you get it right, you actually are able to draw in your perfect people. And so, like you said, as a business owner, understanding the ins and outs of video, whether you're just doing a live video like what we're doing right now and there's no doctoring to it, or you're actually editing a video, actually understanding the ins and outs of what you're doing or what you're paying someone else to do will help you be able to hire somebody that much better. I remember learning this when I first started in the online world. I remember people telling me, even though you don't love working on your website, you should know how to do it. That way, if you plan on paying somebody, you know if they're doing a good job or not. So you should actually have an understanding as to what it is that you are what it is that that person is doing. So that way you can kind of backtrack and go, yeah, this isn't the right person for me. So it's a great way to actually know who you're hiring and why you're hiring them.
And I'll take this into like just a basic concept. Everybody pretty much knows how to drive a car, right? Like, you know what it takes to drive a car. Well, when you pay a chauffeur to drive the car, you understand everything that they're doing, right? So if you hire a driver or somebody that can drive and do all that while you're, in the back seat or whatever, it makes your life easier. You can focus in on other tasks, but at least you understand how they're driving the car, where they're going, that kind of that basic thing. The same good thing goes for the business. And I think people get caught up in like, I'm the jack of all trades, but master of none is often the concept that's actually thrown out there. And I think that for me, when I first learned about business, they always said, if you can't speak the language, you're going to get ripped off. 100% you will,
100%.
you'll get ripped off, because if you don't speak the language, then you don't understand what they're talking about, but it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next thing you know, you wondered what you paid for, because what you thought you were going to get, not understanding the questions that are actually being asked of you, you don't have a relationship to that. So yeah, you're going to end up with those opportunities where people are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have those crap things where, you're going to have web developers that you didn't like. You're going to have video editors that you didn't like. And you're going to have all these complaints around the people that you're trying to hire, because you can't speak the basic language with them.
Yeah.
And that's like, even for me, when I go to another country, I learned to say, please, thank you. And I at least a couple of sentences so that I can communicate. The same thing is needed for you, especially when you get into the world of video. Understand what video is. Understand how something gets uploaded onto a YouTube channel. It might not be your jam, right?
It's my jam. I love it.
Not my jam.
Yeah, Heidi's like, no.
You don't have a basic understanding of it. And we make things feel like they're so complicated and they're so out of touch. But the reality is that video really does outperform anything else out there. And as a business, you have to look at how your audience is going to find you and discover you.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So you have to be discoverable, and video allows discoverability. You may not be somebody that likes to go live. Don't do it. You might not be somebody that, wants to be on camera. Well, you can still create videos. Let's talk about this for a moment. You can create videos without your face being on them.
Oh my God, I want to play with this so bad. I've actually, so there's this program called InVideo.ai that I've been looking at for probably like 2 months now. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to play with this so bad, because it's basically you create these faceless videos that have potential for going viral, because it's using AI. It's taking information from the internet of what's currently working on video, and it's creating these faceless videos that have some interesting potential. And one thing that they just added, like maybe a couple days ago, is you can actually speak into the program and it'll actually take your voice and put that as the AI. So it learns what you sound like and puts that behind the video. So
that sounds like you, not some voiceover,
not some robot random. Yeah, exactly. So that's friggin' fun, people. Like, I hope you discover as you're building your business, even if you're initially like, I don't really want to be on camera. I don't really want to, like, this isn't my jam. I hope you discover the creativity behind it and the beauty behind creating video and what can happen when you dive into the world of video and all the different possibilities that are out there. Because here's the thing. You may not be like me. You may not be the person that's like, I love doing all forms of video, whether it's short form, long form, I don't care. Like faceless, I don't care. I love playing to see what works and what's effective, right? If that's not you, start somewhere. Start somewhere and say, okay, I'm going to start doing long form video and see if I like it. If you get into it and you're like, I just don't like this, maybe play with some short form video. Play with some trends on TikTok. I'm not kidding you when I say, when I started doing trends on TikTok years ago, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that this could be so much fun, because there's an element of creativity. Yes. Plus, you get to be a weirdo and people are okay with it. Like that is fun to me. But
I will say, it doesn't even matter if they're just on TikTok. I think you can be a weirdo in any way, shape, or form inside your business. And it's not exclusive to a platform. I love Clapper because Clapper is very supportive for what we're on right now, right? Like, we love Clapper as a community base, a place where we can engage. We've met phenomenal women and other entrepreneurs here on this platform. And what's great about this is that you can do your lives like we're doing right now, right? And the beautiful thing is that we're learning to do interactive lives with this, right? We do get comments from our audience. We do have conversations with you guys around this. And it's the same thing with our YouTube family. We're here because we want to engage and have that conversation. That's why we chose to do lives, because it's about the engagement. It's not us talking to you. We do that on our podcasts, right? So our podcast is about like the information piece. So there's also that, and we do the video portion of that. So we have the video podcast. So it's got the video, it's got the auditory, it's got the transcripts. So again, what we're learning is really that you have the ability to take anything that you're doing right now and really create it as the foundation for your business. So it's the multi-content process, right? And that's really what you have to look at, is especially as a female entrepreneur. Where do you want to put your time, and how much time do you have available in your marketing? And what does it look like to take a piece of content and make it your center focus for how you deliver information? And then at that point, it's just, putting that out over and over again. Now, you might feel like a broken record when you keep saying the same thing over and over again. The reality is that your audience doesn't hear you all the time. They're not looking for you all the time. They're not going to see every video you create. They're not going to get every short. They're not going to read every, piece of your blog post or transcript. So you've got to be consistent in your messaging, even if it's the same thing. I love this, right? It's so many times we think we have to create all this different content out there, but there comes a point that you'll have so much content already. It's just a matter of repurposing it. Change the freaking thumbnail on our YouTube video and re-give it a different name and go after it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that can't stop you from reusing what you already have and just changing the name and seeing what happens. And so many of us get caught up in this constant creation of content process. But the reality is that, and I had this conversation way back when I was first starting blogging. I remember speaking with a really well-known blogger during that time period. And I said, don't you feel like you're on repeat? He goes, I do, but my audience doesn't.
Your audience doesn't.
I feel like I'm on repeat.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I know I'm on repeat, but the thing is, it's not repeat to my audience, because as you continue to grow your audience, they're hearing you newly for the first time, and this information and everything moving forward.
Right.
Most of your audience is not going to go back in time and check out what you did 5 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 days ago. So if you get so caught up in, well, I've already done this. Yeah, you have, but your audience, your new audience, every new person you're bringing in hasn't heard this before. So that's why I say reuse, repurpose, bring back. If you had a really good piece of content that did well a year ago, bring it back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
And you're looking at that content that actually performs. So while we're on this topic, let's talk about how to actually structure that video so that you can actually create that viral content, because this is really, really important. So I'm going to start with YouTube, because YouTube, honestly, it's my favorite. It always probably will be. When you're looking at YouTube, it's so funny to say this, but it's true. When you're looking at YouTube, the most important piece of it is not the video. It's actually the title and the thumbnail.
Yep.
And the reason for that is because you're grabbing somebody's attention in their scroll. You're grabbing somebody and you want to be suggested. This is the other piece of it. You want to be suggested by YouTube. If you are not being suggested by YouTube, you're going to struggle. And I know, because I've been here, done that, got the t-shirt kind of thing. So if you're looking to see what's performing on places like YouTube with your title and your thumbnail, that is what grabs people in. And then from there, then you can actually start structuring your content in a way that gets people to want to watch more from you. So the most important piece of your video, now we're going to go into short form video too, because this is a pretty similar structure for both of them. The most important piece of your video is your hook. What are you saying in the first 30 seconds of a long form video? And on a short form video, it's like your first 5 seconds. You really got to grab somebody's attention. You really got to know what people are looking for, what makes them curious to watch more. So when I'm looking to create a hook, I'm looking at what is working and how can I model it? Okay. I'm not necessarily trying to recreate the wheel. I'm not trying to go out there and do something completely different. I want to see what's working right now. And then I want to say, okay, within my niche, within my particular topic. So, for example, Truth Bomb, we're all about helping creating more female millionaires, right? So I'm asking myself now, once I've seen a hook that gets me curious, I'm asking myself, how can I model that so that that fits within the framework of what people want within my brand? Okay. So really spending time on this, those first three things on YouTube, your title, your thumbnail, and your hook. If you get these things right, you'll start to see more growth and an uptick in your growth. And I've seen this for myself personally. You will start to see, okay, this is what people want. I'm going to give them what they want, but I'm also going to put my spin on it, and I'm going to keep grabbing their attention over and over again. And this really creates that viral format. So it's the same thing with short form video, really understanding what grabs people in a short form content like on Clapper or TikTok or YouTube Shorts, wherever. Really understanding what are the words that I need to be saying and really honing in those words. And as you said, Katrina, if it worked once before, try it again. Why are we recreating our own wheel? If it worked really well, I actually started doing this where if something worked really well, I will write it down. I have a list of things that like viral hooks is what I have written in my notes. Viral hooks that I'm going to use over and over again. And I've written them down because I know that they grab people's attention. Okay. So I'm using it over and over again. It's that rinse repeat. Like you said, like somebody is going to see your content that's never seen you before, and they're not necessarily going to go back. So does your audience see all your stuff? No, they don't. So keep saying what you're saying. Keep doing what you're doing. That's cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
You're winning.
Yeah.
So once you've got that hook down and you're really good with that hook, now you want to create some curiosity. Create curiosity with what you're about to say. And for me, I always go, okay, I have three main topics. I always do 3 to 5, but I generally stick around 3 because I'm long-winded and I like to talk. So I know if I go to 5, I'm probably going to have a really long video and I'm going to have to do more editing than I want to. So I personally know myself and I stick to about 3 main topic items.
Yeah.
You can do the exact same thing in short form video. Okay. You can do 3 main topic items. You just have to edit yourself even more. That was difficult for me when I first started doing short form video. How do I say all of this in 1 minute or less? Oh my God. So, but the more that you play with it, the better you get with it. So you have your hook, your viral hook, then you create a sentence or 2 about curiosity about what you're going to say. And then you jump into your 3 main topics, 3 to 5 main topics. And then from there, you want to bring it all together and you want to tell your audience what to do. There are multiple things that you can tell your audience what to do.
Call to action is key. Why would you
Yes.
create a video and never have a call to action? I never understood that.
I don't know, but
video.
like
The whole
call to
point of the video
action
is to generate either a subscription, a lead generation, or a sale. Like those are really, you got to look at remembering that your content. And I think this is where and I'm gonna jump in real quick on this one, as I think that in terms of content, people get so caught up in trying to do and be different. But if you're a business, the thing is like if your goal is to make money and to make sales and continue to stay a business, then call to actions are part of your format. And you can't, especially for women, I think sometimes we are afraid to make that call to action because it seems too pushy, it seems too forward. Who am I to ask for that kind of money? And so really what I want to invite you to do is always make sure you do have that call to action. If you're creating video, if you're creating a blog post, if you're creating a podcast, throughout it. And it's not just at the end. Traditionally, back in the day, when we were building on social media in the very beginning, starting back in like 2004, 2006, right? We always left the call to action till the end, right? Hey everybody. So really what we're telling you is that the call to action needs to be dripped through, especially in long form content. If you're doing long form content and you're not mentioning at some point your offer, making a reference to that there's going to be an offer at the end of the video, like you don't want to surprise people at the end. And this is kind of like the evolution over time. Now, like I said, I've been doing this since probably about 2006, 2008, really diving into this. And the thing is that we created content in a certain format back then because we were trying to lead with more value, because people weren't established on the web. We weren't using our phones as much as we are today. I mean, the generation that is, being raised right now is more mobile focused than we ever were, than I ever was, right? I played outside. I didn't have a phone. I had a pager, but not until I'm my late teens. So that didn't count either. I dated myself. You're all very welcome. The thing is, though, is that when you create your content, don't shy away from the fact that you have something to offer at the end. Don't shy away from making it a point that you're going to learn more about our academy, that you're going to learn more about how to become a member of Truth Bomb, that you're going to learn more about being a female entrepreneur, or you're going to learn about how this candle that I make, or you're going to learn more about the painting I have to offer, or whatever that product or service is that you provide. You want to make sure that at some point, even during your 3 lists, and I'm talking to myself also as a reminder, you want to lead in that they're going to hear more about an offer. They're going to hear more about something at the end. And you want to make sure that you're conscious of that inside of your marketing. Otherwise, you have like just marketing that's just there, right? And if you spend so much time as a female entrepreneur just creating content because that's what you're told to do, but you're not creating content with purpose, then what are you trying to accomplish in your business, right? So many times you focus in on getting all this information out there, but at the end of the day, does it lead to the relationship? Does it lead to building out that connection? Does it lead to people being engaged with you? Do they comment on your videos? Do they engage with you, right? And so the question that I always ask around content specifically is, what's the engagement? What is the tactile? What's the emotional? What's the piece that's going to hook people in? And then bringing that forward inside of here. So we stepped into 2024 really with a whole new look also around what does marketing look like moving forward, because before, seriously, for the last 20 years, it's been the wild west. All right. Everything and anything was working. You could slap it up on the wall. You could do anything and everything. And it does. But the thing now, 2006, we had 2 platforms. We had Facebook and YouTube. Twitter, now X, was just coming in. We had 3 platforms, 3 very distinct places where people were engaging. Now we have such a blend. YouTube that we're on right now, Clapper that we're on right now. You have audio, you have video, you have shorts, and they're all starting to look alike. Seriously, there's no differentiation between these platforms anymore. They're all doing the same thing, mimicking that same process. So I ask you as a business, where do you want to put your time? Because you can almost on every platform do a long video, do a short video, do a content. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it, or X. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on TikTok. You can do it on Clapper. You can do it on YouTube. You can do it on your blog post. You can even do it on your own app. So the question is, what form do you want to use? And this comes back to video because it is the fastest form of getting your message across. But it's got to be in content. But you don't have to be on all these platforms like everyone's telling you. It really is managing your time as a female entrepreneur and following a method, one process, like Karen talks about. What is your hook if you're doing your video? What is your thumbnail? Even on Clapper, every platform has the same thing. What are you doing to stop the scroll? That is literally your intention in as a business. What are you doing to stop a scroll? And that's where you have to look at, do I have my brand down? Do I have my messaging in place? Do I know who my audience is that I'm going after? Am I creating content that resonates with them? Does it make sense to what they're up to and how I want to serve them? Are my call to actions in place? Do I understand how my finances are going to be managed? And, what's the end game for all of this? Otherwise, you just end up, women, I see this all the time with you. You end up in this freaking hamster wheel doing all these things, doing all this busy work and wondering why there's no money in your bank account.
Yeah, so we had a member within our community this past week She was saying, I really want to get good at YouTube. And I'm like, awesome, I can teach you YouTube. And then at the end of our conversation, she went, oh, wait, what about Pinterest? And I said, what are we doing? No, 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 no. Wait, 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 wait. You choose one or the other. Do you want to do Pinterest or do you want to do YouTube? We just spent an hour talking about YouTube. It sounds like you really want to do YouTube and you got really excited when we were talking about it and I was showing you how to do it. Like, why are you trying to be everywhere? There's there's literally no reason for that. Literally zero reason for that. Because when you hone in your message, when you hone in what people want in your audience, and you actually marry that together, you can have a beautiful, thriving business on one social media platform.
Yeah.
Not 5, not all of them, just one. Just one. And then here's the thing. This is what I discovered. If you decide that you're like, I really like YouTube, but I'm really curious about this thing like short form video, you can go play. Nobody said you can't. But you got to understand that anytime you add something else, you're adding more time to what you're doing.
Well, not only that,
if you want to do that.
Not only that, but to learn something new, like to learn a new platform, if you don't have a base, what I love about this right now, but every time you try to learn something new, it takes away from your ability to put money into your business because your focus shifts, right? So the question is it your time to waste to do that, or is it better off to pay someone? And here's what I love about what we're talking about here is that whether you're on Clapper, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on TikTok, it's all SEO based. It's all getting people to stop the scroll, right? So if you master one and you get really good at creating those customers and making those sales, if you can create customers and make sales from one platform, I promise you, you can then take that same exact process and bring it over to your next platform. But if you're not mastering leads and sales and building your business through one platform, what makes you think that having yourself on 3 different platforms or 4 different platforms or all the freaking platforms that are out there, which is probably over 2,000 different social media platforms across the globe, because most of them aren't all in the United States. Good luck to you.
That's going to be fun. Yeah.
I'm really curious to see who does that. Now, if you have a team and a whole marketing department at your disposal, that's a whole nother conversation. Then we're talking a multi-million-dollar company, billion-dollar company that has a marketing budget that can put that together. If you're a solo entrepreneur trying to build this on your own, ladies, stop it. You can't listen to the guru that's doing a 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 Zoom live production service that has a closed studio that has resources that you don't even know exist yet. And you're trying to mimic their style of marketing and business as a solo entrepreneur. Hi, welcome to burnout.
Overwhelm.
Welcome to overwhelm. Welcome to where the money's coming in because you're so torn apart from everything. That's all I'm saying.
I know. And I researched, like, there was somebody that Karen was talking about following who's going viral on YouTube and building an incredible audience and a business. And I looked for her on Pinterest.
Nope.
Didn't find her. The only thing what I did find was people doing interviews with her. So she was a guest on their podcast.
Oh my God, people will put you on their
They
platform?
did. Yeah. So if you look for her on Pinterest, you'll find all these other people who did interviews with her. And then she got on their audience, but she is laser focused on YouTube and she's doing a fantastic job because she's focused.
Yep.
And she's not all over the place. I didn't look all the other platforms. Was Pinterest. I love Pinterest. And so I had to look for her there and she wasn't there.
But the funny thing is, and I think you point to something really amazing, is that if you start connecting and building relationships with other people, they will put you in front of their audience, which means you don't have to be on those platforms because they're doing that on your behalf. And that's what I think so many of us miss as female entrepreneurs and most businesses is that we don't have to be there to have a presence. Our audience, our following that's in one place will do all that work also. So that's the beauty of collaboration and really, trusting yourself to focus in on one thing like video, get really good and understand how you can leverage video, choose the platform and where you want to be, and watch magic happen, truly magic happen. That's it.
Yeah.
That's I love.
Yeah. And it gets fun when you start to understand more deeply what people want and you really hone in your message, because then it's like that's when you do create that $1 million social media platform where it's literally like that's going to create the money for you over and over again because you've really honed in your skill of discovering and getting curious. Curiosity with social media is probably your best friend because so many of us will post something and then get frustrated instead of curious as to, well, how come that didn't perform? We get frustrated and then we stop ourselves and we block ourselves instead of going, well, how come I can't be curious about how come that didn't perform? How come I can't just go, well, okay, that didn't work, but what if I tweak it ever so slightly here? What if I tweak this ever so slightly? What if I change this ever so slightly? What if I look and see, and this is something that I've known for a very long time, but I've really been honing this in, especially recently on YouTube. What if I look and see who are the creators that are up and coming right now? I want to know what they're doing. What are they saying? What are their titles looking like? What are their thumbnails looking like? And you can do this on any social media platform. Literally can do this anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're on Twitter or you're on or X. It doesn't matter if you're on TikTok, Clapper, whatever. You can look and see what is performing and do something that models it. Do something that if it's working, why are we trying to recreate something? Why not go, hey, I want to piggyback off of they've obviously figured out something. I want to piggyback off of their success too. Figure out how you can take their message and tweak it so that it's your message now. Tweak it so that it actually fits for you and your audience and how you want to build online. This is when it gets fun because this is when you literally go, wow. And this is a true story. Wow, I have a YouTube channel that I haven't touched in almost a year, and it's still bringing in a lot of people watching my stuff. Like, that's just what happens when you start to really tweak this and get really good at this. You'll start to attract people forever and ever and ever and ever, and it becomes that perpetual income stream. I forget what his name is, but it's Sean something from Think Media. And he talks about how much he loves YouTube because it's basically a sales letter. Each video is like a sales letter that lives forever on the internet. That's the reason I love YouTube so much, because it's literally that you've literally taken yourself and duplicated yourself times a million.
It's the long-term strategy. And I think what I love about, when you're talking about, finding what people want. Sometimes you just have to be able to understand what your audience is. And I know that inside of Unlocking My Millions, once we dive into the marketing section, we actually talk about the 8 core values that drive every sale. And when you could understand what the 8 influences are that get people to buy, which is what you want as a business, you want people buying from you. When you can tap into those 8 psychological ways that people will buy your products and services, then you start crafting your videos around that type of messaging that fits your brand, your audience. And we talk about all of that inside of Unlocking My Millions, because so many times I see this, and I'm even seeing this in business schools and everything else. They talk about, okay, what's your product and how to market it? And they think that's business school. And really for us as female entrepreneurs, that methodology, that training is actually burning us out. Though it does create success, we were talking about this earlier, we don't stay in it long enough because the process of how we're building burns us out emotionally, mentally, physically, that we don't stay in the game long enough to really see the next level position. We're ready to throw it away, quit it, and get rid of it. So what we did inside of Unlocking My Millions was really break down the process of having a business from the female perspective. What are the things you need to start putting into your business that aren't in the traditional business format, so that you're incorporating more of, here's what I will say for women. Women need to be in consistent rest and consistent action. Now, this is counterintuitive to what everyone's telling you in the business world. They say you need to be consistent. But the reality is for women, because of how we cycle, how we view life, how we emotionally go through things, we actually need to build in consistent rest and consistent action. Otherwise, we get to that build out that phase where we're not staying in it for long term. We're not building that continuity for our income. And I see this a lot of times with women in business is that we'll make really good money, really freaking good money. But then 2-3 years later, after doing that, we're like, I don't want to build a business this way. And we stop. And then it's like, well, where did the money go? Where did the income go? Right. So what we're here to do inside of Unlocking My Millions is we want more female millionaires.
Yeah.
We absolutely want more female millionaires in the world. And to do that requires a different framing for how business looks for women, but also inside of that, touch upon the marketing elements, touch upon the cash management elements, talk about what a rich woman looks like, not just financially, but what does a rich woman look like in all areas of her life, right? A rich woman is a woman that has the ability to rest, play, work, have time for her family, is happy with who she is, and doesn't feel like she has the imposter syndrome, the fake it till you make it syndrome, all the BS that's out there that we're told is how we're going to be able to build a business, because I did it all. And the thing is that I've now learned, because of these two amazing business partners and the incredible women that are becoming the very first women to understand the process of business for a female, the yin to the yang, we are having so much more fun. We are having a lot more play in our business. And really what I see women doing for the first time is incorporating rest and then having more success doing less. They're actually creating more financial abundance in their life because of the fact that they're not in the constant doing state, shame state, blame state, guilt state, mom guilt state, family guilt state. They're letting go of a lot of things that they thought they had to do and are starting to come back to, okay, this makes sense for how I felt and how I had been feeling. And I always wondered why this always felt wrong or not right. It's because we had to reimagine and relook at the structure of building a business for women. And doing that has been a shit ton of fun, to be honest. And I love the results that women are getting. They are becoming unlocked. That's like our thing. Our goal is unlocking your millions. And at the end of this program, women are truly saying, I feel free. I feel unlocked to really pursue my passion without all the shit that we've had to be dumped on us for what we've been told is how we build this business, but doesn't lead to the sustainability of keeping that income, keeping that lifestyle. So yeah, that's what I love about everything that we teach here, from video to podcasting to money to all of it. Like, it's so, man, I really wish everybody says this. I wish I had had this access to this information before. Where was this information 10 years ago? And I said, well, the thing is, you can't create something you didn't know that you were inside of until you got out of it.
Yeah, you weren't ready for it. Like, that's the thing. I look back at my journey and everything that I did led me to where I am right now. Yeah. So I wasn't ready to hear that I was going to be creating, or I was going to be my own worst enemy in my business. I wasn't ready to hear that. I wasn't ready to hear that I was about to become this crazy workaholic that was always on, always doing, always trying to make something work. And when I let all of that go, I now hone in and I ask myself every day, I'm like, okay, what is the most effective thing for me to do today? And sometimes that means taking a rest.
Nap time.
Sometimes I had to do that yesterday because I've had this crazy sinus infection. And I'm glad that I took a moment yesterday just to lay on the couch, because I don't normally do that, but I really needed it. I needed it to start healing some more. And I'm glad, because I feel way better today. So, but it's asking yourself, what do I need to do that is the most effective thing to move forward? Okay. Like it might not be in a thing that is logical. You might in your logical mind say, but I have all of these things that I have to do. Because I laid on the couch and I remember thinking, oh my God, I do have a lot of things to do, but I really need to break. I really need to sit here and not.
And sometimes that's a nap. And sometimes that's going and playing a game with your kids.
Sometimes that's that too.
Yesterday, I got to go and play with some kids. And that was refreshing to me.
Yeah. That's
that was
awesome.
like, I needed that time away from the business, but it was like I was playing with these kids, and that to me was more refreshing, more reviving than if I had laid down and taken a nap.
I
Because
took the nap.
she took the nap, and that's totally cool.
Mhm.
Sometimes a nap works, sometimes going outside and taking a walk, sometimes sitting down and playing a game with your child.
Yeah. And you can't know what that thing is that's most effective unless you're actually in tune with you. And that for
Mhm.
me is the most important thing for anybody, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a child. Like getting back in tune with ourselves is not something that we were taught when we were kids. And so, as an adult, if you weren't taught as a kid, you're not just going to know how to do it. So, it comes down to practicing, taking that time to practice. Now, this does not mean that we turn into lazy slobs. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. But you realize where there needs to be that balance. You realize when it's okay to not shame yourself for needing some time to lay on the couch. And this, honestly, like this, when I stepped into this world of starting to understand me and actually leaning into me a little bit more, I started to find more joy in creating video. I found more joy in creating things in my business. I started to discover what I liked, what I didn't like, what I didn't want to do anymore. So if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I think I need to be doing XYZ," I could look at them and sincerely say, "That does not feel right." And I am okay saying no, thank you. Whereas before, it would be like, "Oh God, I need to be doing that too. I feel like I need to be everywhere on every social media platform because this guru is telling me to do it." Now I can look at that guru and I can say, "I'm glad that you have that opinion. I don't need to do that though." You start to feel more whole inside yourself when you can actually do this. You can actually look at anybody. You could look at your spouse. You could look at your best friend. You could look at a stranger on the street and say, "No, thank you.
Mhm.
I appreciate the offer for me to do XYZ, but I don't need to do that. And I know I don't need to." And you start to understand when you do need to do something and when you do not need to be doing something. And there's just a total freedom that comes with that when you create that self-awareness in your business, when you create that self-awareness when you're creating a video. Your energy comes off in such a way. I have never had so many people as I have within the past year tell me, "On video, I just am so attracted to you, and I don't know what it is." And it's because I've really honed in that skill. I've really practiced this skill of being the authentic me, saying yes or saying no when I knew it was right. When that intuition said, "Do it or don't do it." It changes everything about you. You start to enjoy everything a little bit more. And you start to actually build a business that you love instead of feeling burnt out all the time.
Mhm.
And to wrap this up real quick, because I want to acknowledge our Clapper family, because we've got something really cool happening in the beginning of March. So we have been invited to speak on the panel for Women's History Month. We are going to be talking on the business panel. They contacted us. We did not solicit this, so we're pretty excited that we have been putting out really good content here on Clapper, that we're going to be recognized in the speaking panel around female entrepreneurship. So stay tuned, because we're going to ask you to participate pretty actively on Clapper for this one. For our YouTube family, if you're not following us over there, I guess Karen will put a link down below in there so you can kind of stalk us over
Oh,
there.
yeah, there's a link down below.
Yeah.
Yep.
There'll be a link down below, but you absolutely want to play in this, because we're going to really be playing full out with our Clapper community for this one. You're going to see some crazy crap coming up. I promise you that. And I hope you guys enjoy that one. But yeah, it's, for what we've been building around female entrepreneurship, and to be recognized by a platform like Clapper is truly amazing. So we thank Clapper and the Clapper family, and for everyone that tunes in and watches us, because we want to really give back and say thank you to this amazing community that has supported us, that has been here for us, that's been watching our videos, that's been commenting, that's been engaging with us. This has been a heck of a lot of fun. So we are super excited and honored to be part of the Women's History Month with Clapper. And you're going to see everything from entrepreneurship from us to health and wellness from us to what else do we have to do over there?
I don't
Lots
even
of
know. We'll
fun
figure
stuff.
it out.
But we're going to have a crap ton of fun over here and really show you what it looks like to be a female entrepreneur playing full out, but also making sure that we have rest time. I have a feeling you're going to see pictures of me napping, but that's cool. I'm totally okay with that. So with that, I really want to thank everybody for being here. And if you haven't already, there's probably a link right around here somewhere for Unlocking My Millions. And really what this is about, it's about helping women unlock your true genius in your business, especially if you've gone through business or feeling burnt out, feel like you've hit a glass ceiling and you're like, I don't know what to do next, right? This doesn't feel right anymore. I wish there was a better way. And guess what? We've created for the first time a better way for women to approach, handle both energy, relationships, and everything else while you build your business. So we've created the yin to the yang, and we're pretty excited with what we've done. So for that, you can head over to truthbombmarketing.com to learn more about it. We'd love having you here. If you have not yet, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do a lot of really cool podcasts and training down over here. And with that, we hope to see you inside of our academy. Anything else, ladies?
Nope.
That's
All
a
right.
wrap.
That's a wrap. Bye, everyone. Have a